One quiet moment changed everything. And if you blinked during the finale, you probably missed the real meaning behind it. The ending of Bridgerton Season 4 Part 2 was not just about romance, it was about power, secrets, and a future that could shake the entire ton. And the biggest twist. It was hiding in plain sight from the very beginning by the time the final episode begins. The emotional pressure inside the ton is already at its highest point. Relationships that once felt stable are now fragile, and every character is standing at a crossroads. The season carefully builds this tension step by step, showing us how love and duty are starting to pull people in opposite directions. What makes this ending so powerful is not just what happens in the last few minutes, but how every small decision earlier in Part 2 slowly pushes the story toward this moment. You can feel that something big is coming, even before the characters realize it themselves at the center of the finale. We see how the main couple's journey reaches its most vulnerable stage. Throughout Part 2, their connection has been tested by doubt, outside pressure, and their own fears. The writers cleverly show that this is not just a love story anymore. It is a battle between what the heart wants and what society expects. Every conversation becomes more loaded with meaning. Even simple looks between characters start to feel heavy, almost like silent warnings that the peace cannot last forever. This slow emotional build is exactly why the ending hit so hard. Meanwhile, the social world of the ton continues to move like a chessboard in the background. Alliances shift quietly. Rumors spread faster than ever. And once again, reputation proves to be just as dangerous as any enemy. One of the smartest things about this part of the season is how it shows that no victory in this world comes without a price. Even characters who seem calm on the surface are clearly carrying hidden worries. The show keeps reminding us that in this society, happiness is never simple and never fully safe. As the finale moves closer, the mood becomes noticeably more tense. The music choices, the longer pauses in dialogue, and the careful camera focus on characters' reactions all work together to create a feeling that something important is about to break. Viewers who pay close attention can already spot the emotional cracks forming. Trust is being tested. Loyalties are quietly shifting. And most importantly, the story begins to ask a deeper question. Is true love strong enough to survive the weight of the ton's expectations? This is exactly where Part 2 becomes more than just a romantic drama. It turns into a story about risk, identity, and the cost of choosing your own path. And as we move into the final moments of the season, one thing becomes very clear. The peaceful world we saw at the beginning of Season 4 is about to change forever. Asterisk, everything truly explodes in the final episode. And the first major moment that demands attention is how carefully the show begins to tighten the emotional pressure around every key character. Nothing feels accidental here. The writers slow the pacing on purpose, allowing each glance, each pause, and each quiet conversation to carry extra weight. You can almost feel the storm building beneath the surface. What makes this part of the ending so effective is that it does not rely on loud drama immediately. Instead, it creates a calm that feels almost too controlled, and that is exactly the warning sign. The main turning point begins when the central couple is finally forced to confront what they have been avoiding all season. Up until this moment, both characters have been dancing around the truth, hiding behind polite words and social expectations. But in the finale, that emotional distance becomes impossible to maintain. Their conversation is layered with hesitation, and you can clearly see that both of them understand the stakes have changed. This is no longer about simple attraction or courtship. Now it is about whether they are willing to risk their place in society for something real. The tension in this scene works so well because the show trusts silence. Long pauses say more than long speeches. At the same time, the ton itself begins to react in subtle but important ways. Rumors start moving faster, and the social pressure that once felt like background noise now steps directly into the spotlight. One of the smartest details in this episode is how reputation becomes almost like an invisible villain. No single person is openly attacking the main characters, yet the weight of public opinion feels stronger than ever. This reminds viewers of one of the core truths of the world of asterisk Bridgerton in this society. Perception can destroy lives. Just as quickly as scandal, Another powerful moment in the finale comes through the supporting characters, who are far more important to the ending than they first appear. While the main romance takes center stage, the reactions of family members and close allies quietly shape the emotional outcome. Some offer support that feels genuine but cautious. Others respond with concern that borders on quiet disapproval. These layered reactions make the world feel real, because not everyone sees love the same way. The show cleverly uses these side characters to reflect the larger conflict between personal happiness and social duty. As the episode moves forward, the emotional pacing becomes sharper and more direct. Conversations grow shorter but more intense. The music begins to carry a more serious tone. Even the visual framing starts isolating characters more often, subtly showing how alone they are becoming in their choices. This is a classic storytelling move, but it is executed with impressive control. The viewer is not just watching events unfold, they are feeling the pressure alongside the characters. By the time we approach the final stretch of the episode, it becomes clear that the story has been building toward a moment of decision rather than a moment of pure shock. The real power of this ending is not just in what happens, but in why it happens. Every emotional beat has been carefully prepared throughout Part 2, making the climax feel earned instead of sudden. And just when it seems like the characters might find a safe path forward, the story reminds us of the harsh reality of the ton. In this world, love always comes with consequences, and someone always has to pay the price. What makes this ending truly powerful is not just the emotional payoff, but what it quietly sets up for the future of Bridgerton. By the final moments, the story makes one thing very clear. While one chapter may feel complete on the surface, the larger game inside the ton is far from over. In fact, the finale carefully plants several seeds that strongly hint where the story could go next. The biggest question moving forward is how the ton will respond to everything that has unfolded. Reputation has always been fragile in this world, and now the balance feels more unstable than ever. Even though some characters may have found emotional clarity, their social standing is not fully secure. This creates a perfect setup for future conflict. The show is quietly telling us that consequences do not always arrive immediately. Sometimes they wait. It's building slowly in the background. That lingering uncertainty is exactly what keeps the ending feeling alive even after the episode ends. Another important setup comes through the characters whose stories are clearly not finished yet. Throughout the finale, the camera repeatedly gives small but meaningful focus to certain faces during key moments. These are not random choices. In the world of Bridgerton, screen attention often signals future importance. Some characters who stood on the sidelines this season now feel perfectly positioned to step into the spotlight next. This strongly suggests that Season 5 could shift its romantic focus while still dealing with the emotional fallout we just witnessed. There is also the matter of trust, or rather, the lack of it. One of the quiet themes running under the entire finale is that secrets still exist. Beneath the polished surface of the ton, not every truth has been spoken. Not every intention has been revealed. And the show makes sure to leave just enough mystery in the air to keep viewers questioning what might still be hidden. This is classic long-term storytelling. Instead of closing every door, the writers intentionally leave a few slightly open. Perhaps the most interesting implication is how the tone of the series itself seems to be evolving. Earlier seasons of Bridgerton leaned heavily into sweeping romance and social spectacle. But this ending hints at a slightly more mature direction, where emotional choices carry heavier consequences. Love is still at the center, but it now feels more complicated, more risky, and more deeply tied to personal identity. If the show continues on this path, future seasons could explore even deeper emotional conflicts rather than just surface-level romantic tension in the end. The finale succeeds because it gives viewers satisfaction while still creating anticipation. It resolves enough to feel meaningful, but it withholds enough to keep the audience curious. And that balance is exactly why the ending of Season 4 Part 2 feels so effective. The story may have reached a pause, but in the world of the ton, peace never lasts for long.